Okay, so hello, uranium friends. So we're going to take a quick look at U.UN. There's a lot of chatter out there about the discount to NAV and whatnot, and whatever. We'll get into it, but let's just look at this chart for a moment. So here we have the weekly chart, and these Fibonacci retracements they've been drawn since actually this top was hit. But regardless of that, I want to take a look at it with my bear glasses on and my bull glasses on to see what we see. So on this weekly chart, this is a pretty solid trend line. And again, this is one of those lines that I've drawn a long time. I'm not the biggest trend line guy, but I do keep them in mind. So yeah, multiple touches on the line, which are good, 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 good. And then it started to lose it, right? So now we have multiple touches and it's just dancing around. But for the at the moment, this angled trend line, for lack of a better term, it is acting as resistance at the moment. So again, we are on the weekly chart. So when you look at these Fibonacci retracements, perfectly healthy here as far as that's concerned. I mean, it did what a good fib would do, right? So it came back and it tested the 38% retracement, and it just continued on, and now it's just dancing around here at this 23% retracement. So when we look at this volume profile, we can start to frame out the range that we kind of have right now. So even with this small range here that I've outlined with this blue and green line, these horizontal lines, if we zoom in a little bit, you can see, um, we've got a $16 to $18 range at the moment. So, it's done some U.UN because the questions with the discount to NAV and whatnot, I approach it in this way. I'm looking for like I have a position. I've had a position for a very long time, long enough to say that, most of my positions are from down here. But regardless of that, I still do trade it. I hold this core down here, but I still do trade it, this name, but just not as frequency. But at this point, I'm looking for a 15 to 20% discount to NAV um, for ads, and usually, if it gets back to like a 10% discount, well, or an 8% discount, I'm probably going to be trimming because at the moment I don't know when, if or when this thing ever gets back to NAV. Now, you can look to Bitcoin with the GBTC. Rarely gets back to NAV. So, and that's just a little bit of a side note. So this is, technically wise, chart wise, we're working on our third inside, really fourth. Let's just see here. What's the low here? Yeah, so this is going to be our fourth. We are working on our fourth weekly inside bar. To say the least, we've got some volatility at some point coming. Which way the range breaks, we don't know. But short term, most important range is this $16 to $18 range. Now, we're kind of like dancing around the bottom of this range. So that I mean, these are the bear glasses that I'm putting on right now. Does this range hold up? Because then I'm starting to look down here. So over the long term, though, what is the bear case on this? Well, if you can look at this volume here, I mean, it's just been dropping off. And it makes sense because the space in general has been going through a little bit of a risk off, except CCJ, and I will make another video on that after this one. But the space in general has been dropping off. Now, what's going on with Spud is that they're dealing with other funds that are basically competition now with ZPut coming into play here. There's no NAV estimates with ZPut, so the difference being, of course, is that uh, it's not publicly traded the way that U.UN is. So the regular retail trader can't get that. But it was one of these spots before Zput came out where institutions can throw some money at it. So does that dynamic change? Do they choose to just use Zput instead of this? Well, time will tell, right? So, but regardless of that, this is our range that we're in. We've got some, we're just dancing around with all these moving averages. So it needs to go it needs to give us a direction. But as a from a longer term perspective, there's really not a lot wrong with this chart. Again, my bear glasses would say, "Hey, we've got declining volume. That's not good." Um, and we're just getting chopped up in this range here. So what happens is that the more times you keep testing a certain level without taking it out with follow through, uh, the better of a chance it becomes that that's the level for a while. So, we need to see how it plays out. So right now we're starting to test this lower range here. Um, so I mean that's where it's at. When you look at this volume profile, we've got a lot of support underneath. There's a lot here for us to work off of here, but it's getting to a point where if it keeps testing a range, you have to start looking the other way, even though this is in a good spot. So you know the most simplest part of all this is if you look at and we look at this monthly, we'll be able to just get a little bit of more flavor. Um, it's consolidating at the highs. That's the bull glasses here. So it's consolidating at the highs, and as long as some of these key levels don't break, it's probably going to continue doing so. Healthy on the fibs, healthy on the volume profile, consolidating at the highs. We need to get an answer because we do have 4 weekly inside bars. So one would say that however these inside bars start to break will be the determination as to maybe a little bit of a longer term direction. So, what am I looking for now for my next spot? Is I want to see. Um, I would love to get like a 15 to 18% discount on NAV, and then and if that lines up with some levels on the chart, I mean that just becomes a great spot for me to make an ad. So I'll be keeping my eyes out for that. But so far, everything's okay. It's not fantastic. There are some bear cases here. Um, we just have to wait and see because we do have a form again 4 weekly inside bar. So I'm just kind of waiting around to see how that breaks. Okay, over and out.